8 years after Grenfell, the government still doesn't know how many homes are unsafe and has no clear plan to fix them. I'm going to read into this more from Byline Times, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Byline Times with a headline that 8 years after Grenfell, the government still doesn't know how many homes are unsafe and has no clear plan to fix them. Repeated promises to clean up the scandal of homes covered in highly dangerous flammable cladding is still not being met, warns MPs. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share it across social media so others are notified of this video. Guys, for those who were on, I think when I covered the last Prime Minister's questions, this was brought up. This was brought up again about how important it is to deal with this. One of the Labour MPs, brought up that there are still many homes that still have this issue and they need to be dealt with. The government says that they are trying to rapidly increase this. They have set aside money specifically for this cladding, but they've also said that a lot of money, while there has been government money set aside to help with the cladding, they're also relying on the companies responsible for some of these to pay for it too. Now the problem is getting them on board and getting them to pay out of their own pockets to do this as well. It's 2025, and as it says there, 8 years on, and we still have properties in the UK that are not safe, are completely unsafe for people. Now I know the Conservatives didn't give a damn about this issue, and I also understand that it hasn't even been a full year yet since Labour have been in power. I accept that. I accept that premise. But what are we doing to speed up this process? What actions are we taking to speed this, to ensure this is done? Because no one wants to have a second Grenfell. There shouldn't even need to have been a first Grenfell. These lives that were lost could have been prevented, and every day that passes that this is not dealt with, there is always another possibility that this could happen again, because the cladding is not safe. The cladding is not safe in many high-rise buildings still in the UK. And I'm sorry, this is just not good enough. There needs to be more, needs to be done on this. Then the housing minister needs to be more on top of this. We need to be chasing the companies behind them, the companies behind it, to make sure that they are making these changes as quickly as possible. One of the other stories that's been battered around as well over this as well for a while is that one of the things that some of these private companies are trying to do is trying to pass the bills on to some of the renters or homeowners in some of these high-rise buildings as well, which was also very problematic as well. I'm not sure if the government's got a grip on that specifically, but if anyone can let me know down in the comments, that would be greatly appreciated. But for me, like, the health and safety of people is the utmost paramount. No one should have to live in fear of their home, because if for some people who are living in high-rise buildings, some of them don't actually know that their home is unsafe. Some are aware, but not everyone is. And I think some people are also afraid to speak out enough about their landlords or their owners about it, because of fear that perhaps maybe they might get pushed out of their home by somebody, by their landlords or so. You know, out of fear of reprisal from those who own the high-rise building themselves. I think there's also that context as well. But Britain, as it says there, broken Britain, it is broken Britain. And I really hope we don't have another Grenfell, but every day passes, there's always that possibility, guys, I'm afraid to say. So Keir Starmer's plans to fix the dangerous cladding problems left in the wake of the Grenfell fire tragedy are not working and risk leaving 3 million people trapped in unsafe homes, a new parliamentary report has warned. MPs on the House of Commons Public Accounts Committee said they are appalled that despite new plans drawn up last year, ministers still do not know how many homes are affected by unsafe cladding, what is the cost of bringing them up to standard, and how long it will take to do so. MPs have given the government until July to come up with the figures. Now, Again, there was a lot of kicking and screaming at the Conservatives to give us these numbers as well, and they weren't given the numbers. I don't know if the government are getting all this. I don't know if government are going to have all this information, but the fact that we're still waiting for this is ridiculous. It really, really is. The report also reveals that the scale of the problem could derail the government's promise to build 1.5 million new homes, especially affordable ones, because money to build new homes is being diverted to repair homes affected by the aftermath of Grenfell. In London, this has been particularly dramatic, with new affordable housing starts reduced by 88% over the last financial year. Across England, it's 39%. So, Geoffrey Clifton Brown, MP Chair of the Public Accounts Committee, has said that the Grenfell Tower fire will forever be a badge of shame for this nation. Residents were left down by failings at every level. A community was traumatised and 72 lives were lost. Rightly, in all positions of responsibility, have vowed to do everything in our power to prevent such a disaster from happening again. But 8 years after Grenfell, it is still not known how many buildings out there have dangerous cladding and when it will be removed. That vows to remains unkept for days, and that is still the case. As a charter surveyor, I take a deep personal interest in building safety. I was utterly appalled by the evidence given to our inquiry, showing residents still mired in the national cladding crisis. With no immediate solutions at hand, leaseholders and modest financial means can often be left with potentially large financial liabilities, effectively rendering their property unsellable. That crisis shows having a chilling effect on house building overall. Social housing providers forced to divert resources to re-mitigation rather than badly needed new homes. Despite long-standing promises to making the industry pay, government has yet to find a way to secure this outcome. A report says the Ministry of Housing programme to deal with this is also being hampered by a lack of skills fire assessors and cladding workers. This is likely to be exacerbated by the wider context of ambitious house building targets and constrained construction sector capability to report states. I think this is a good time to remind people as well. Materials that we usually rely on, a lot of materials that we also have for some of our homes, is not all made and produced here in the UK. It's also needed we get from abroad. Since Brexit, obviously that's cost us more, and obviously inflation obviously plays into account. So sometimes some of these construction pieces and material, the word is using, also cost more than it used to be as well. So that is also playing a factor as well. Yet the MHCLC appears complacent about the risks posed by this lack of capacity. So despite their assurances in additional funding and support for local authorities may still lack the powers, capabilities or capacity to undertake the volume of necessary enforcement action. The committee was given some stark examples of the current problem. So one housing association, the Islington and Shoreditch Housing Association, has had to sell off social housing in a high-value area of London to pay for remedial works to one of their buildings. Darren Pathley, Labour MP for Southampton Egerton, sent in a dossier showing problems faced by residents with developers carrying out remissions. To involve Baronet's Home, one of the government's partners for the new house building programme. One development of 40 flats built by Barratt was found to have serious fire problems, with no fireproofing from the steel frame of the building. The local fire authority banned the use of the underground car park because of the fire risk, according to this submission. Serious construction defects were found, including a complete lack of fireproofing on the internal stairs. See, who signs off this? When you hear stories like this, like, it raises questions of who the hell signs off this? They sign these off thinking that they're still safe enough. When an expert actually goes in and says, no, it's not safe. It's not safe. For over 55 weeks, the building has remained covered in scaffolding without progress, blocking lights and access to fresh air. Constituents are left without balcony access, heating issues, and evidence of water damage, while a 24-hour walking watch remains in place. What kind of local government leaders says that the continued squeeze on local authority budgets was hampering efforts to solve the problems. Councils are committed to keeping tenants and residents safe and are keen to work with governments to drive the pace of remediation. CLR Adam Hugg, housing spokesperson for the local government association, has said. However, as this report shows, still a major issue that requires significant funding and resources to address properly. There's evidence financial pressures facing councils is having an impact on their ability to carry out this work as swiftly as their community would like. The government spokesperson has said that this government's been taking tough and decisive action after years of dividend delay, going further than ever before to speed up the unacceptable slow pace of remediation and provide an end in sight for residents who have suffered too long. We will work closely with industry, local authorities and residents to accelerate remediation efforts while ensuring those responsible for unsafe building covers the cost, with new penalties and criminal sanctions on building owners who refuse to take action. Well, I hope there are criminal sanctions on those refusing to take action, because I do feel like that a lot of them will be trying to pass the buck or trying to get off this in some way, shape, or forms. I do think that there is not enough being done. I mean, it sounds tough on the government, but as we've read there, like there doesn't. It just feels like to me that this is going to drag on and drag on and drag on and drag on, and until we have another scandal again. Because we're not taking this seriously. We're talking about people's lives at risk here. And there should be no, like, I said about, like, how important it is for a government to look after its people. A government that we have, its whole point is to look after its people. It's one of the main priorities. We all know this. Yeah? The fact that since this has happened, Grenfell happened, 8 years on, we are still having these conversations. Now, like I said, Labour have only been in power for less than a year, and I know they have a lot on their plate, and I understand that criticism. I understand they have a lot on their plate. Okay, but those within the housing departments need to be pushing this harder, need to be cracking down on this further, and need to be ensuring that they are giving the councils and housing and local government associations the powers that they need to make sure that those responsible are being pressured to do more, to get these re-mitigations done as quickly as possible. We need this solved. Like, I do not want to be, like, in 5 years' time still having these conversations. We should not be having these conversations now. These should have been addressed already. It is a massive scandal because lives have been lost here because of Grenfell. And lives could still be lost every single day that this is not dealt with. But what do you guys think? What do you guys make of the situation around Grenfell? What do you guys make that 8 years on, we still have some homes, some high-rises, some buildings that are still incredibly dangerous and unsafe? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video informative or helpful to you in any way, hit that like button, share it across social media so others are notified, subscribe if you haven't already, leave a comment down below as well. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me and the work that I do here on this channel, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for just as little as 99p. Hit that join button down below. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.